Hello, welcome back. Today's talk on the road to Nirvana will be an explanation of how the unconscious mind operates. Pierre Janet started off the investigation of the unconscious mind in the late 1800s. He treated patients with hysteria who had symptoms of psychological blindness, paralysis, seizures, and hallucinations. He formulated the theory that dissociation arose from traumatic experiences which resulted in these symptoms. Then Joseph Breuer collaborated with Sigmund Freud on treating patients with hysteria. They could hypnotize these patients, and under hypnosis they were able to see and walk. But afterwards their blindness and paralysis returned. Breuer then treated a patient, Anna O., by asking her to recall and talk about the time when her symptoms first appeared and tell him about her emotional responses to her symptoms. Anna O.'s recall of her symptoms and treatment was often facilitated through hypnosis. Treatment with Anna O., the cathartic method, was successful because Breuer helped her to recall forgotten or repressed memories of traumatic events. Based on his treatment of her case, he concluded that symptoms such as hysteria, anxiousness, and depression were often the result of unconscious processes and could only be treated if they were brought into consciousness. Then Breuer and Freud published their pivotal book, Studies on Hysteria, in 1895. Recently, Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman helped to integrate the idea of the unconscious mind into a more complex processing system, which he described in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow. The human brain has two distinct processing systems, in a way similar to the dual microprocessors that many computers have. These processing systems take in information, process them, and come to an understanding of them, and then make a decision or carry out an action. The processing systems in the brain are very different from each other. Classically, the first one is called the unconscious mind, and the second one the conscious mind. Neuroscientists have localized these systems in specific areas of the brain. The unconscious mind is in the central part of the brain, while the conscious mind is in the prefrontal cortex. The unconscious mind is fast, intuitive, creative, and very responsive. If you see something, you instantly know what it is, what it means, and how you should respond to it. In contrast, the conscious mind is slow, but it has the advantage of panoramic awareness. It can see the big picture, integrate the various elements, and come up with a response that takes everything into consideration. Freud and Breuer expected to find pathological processes which caused serious psychiatric symptoms, and they found traumatic experiences and repression. Modern neuroscientists looked for normal processes which make sense on one level, but which can get out of control. So they do find anxiety and depression, but did not look for hidden traumas. They found expectable drives which get misdirected in some way. The unconscious mind has a powerful motivational system. It has drives, desires, and wants. Our basic biological drives are air, food, drink, shelter, clothing, warmth, sex, and sleep. Abraham Maslow expanded on these with the following needs: physiological, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. The drive system in our unconscious mind creates anxiety if we are afraid we will fail, and worry and depression if we do fail. In a way, these are normal experiences because everyone has inner drives and everyone has emotional reactions which arise from them. You could say that these drives and emotions are adaptive. Imagine a prehistoric village in which everyone had fun all summer long, eating and drinking and carrying out a fulfilling social life. But when winter came, they had not stored up food for winter, had not built houses to be protected from the cold, and did not build forts to defend themselves from the Mongol invaders. One way or another, these happy people were not likely to survive the winter. But in today's world, our fears and worries can spin out of control and lead to unhappiness and dysfunction, which cripples us. Although the drive system worked for our ancestors, we can do a lot better now without them. We can replace our high-pressure drives with goals which are created by our conscious mind. We need to have direction and purpose in our lives if we are to function and succeed in our activities and in our lives. We keep many of the contributions of our unconscious mind. Our fast reactions, insights, and creativity can serve us very well. 90 to 95% of our everyday activities arise from our unconscious mind. Although our conscious mind is right there when we are driving an automobile, it is our unconscious mind which does most of the driving. This is because we must react quickly to other cars and traffic when something happens. We can't really pause and think about the car that just slowed down in front of us. We have to quickly step on the brakes or decide to pass it. The unconscious mind and the conscious mind can work very well in a partnership. They provide many skills and abilities to respond to the demands of our everyday life. However, the more complex and sophisticated conscious mind needs to make the final decision if there's a conflict between these two parts of the mind.